collectors. Thank you for joining us.
We're here today to talk to wonderful photographer Tif Hunter about the art of the tintype. I don't know how many of you know about tintypes, but it's a really astonishing process that Tif's been working on for the past decade. Although it's a 19th century technique, Tif has really crafted a very specific style, merging with a modern aesthetic, and has shot for, as probably quite a good example of that aesthetic, shot for brands such as Hyatt Denim and Toast. So, without further ado, welcome Tif Hunter.
Very pleased to be here.
Very happy to be talking to you. It's a subject that Mimi and I have spoken about, obviously, for years, as long as we've known you. And I think it's such a unique and beautiful process that, we're very happy to be talking to you and finding a little bit more and hopefully sharing your knowledge with other people as well. So I guess first question would be to hear a little bit more about the process of shooting tin, because it's a really special process. I've got some pictures up here for people to see the setup of it, which is quite astonishing. So tell us a little bit about the process of it and about the developing of the tin.
Okay, well, what you're looking at there clearly has an awful lot of lights going, and this is a process from round about the birth of photography, and one of its particular characteristics is that it is not very sensitive to light, but when you give it the right amount of light, you get these wonderfully fantastic tonal monochrome images. So I need to either take a very long exposure, which I often do with still life, or when I'm shooting portraits, as you're seeing there, I use vast amounts of flash to do the same thing. What happens is I've sensitized a metal plate with a bunch of chemicals, which include collodion and silver nitrate, and the silver nitrate is the light sensitive part of it. And I've done all that in the dark and put it in a dark slide after it's taken 3 or 4 minutes to sensitize the plate, and then I can expose it. Then as soon as I've exposed the image, I then need to process it, and so you get effectively an image from start to finish in a relatively short time, although all the preamble of composition and lighting and feel and consideration has happened beforehand. So you can kind of think about it as a 19th century Polaroid, and what you get are these incredibly tonal black and white images where there's a sort of tone, a warm tone to it as well. And I then also copy that original in order to make editions of print. And I think the aesthetic is just something very special, and I've always been keen to create images that other people would like to own and have, and that in essence is what my tintype practice is all about.
I'm interested in what it was about this medium that first excited you so much, because it feels like you've really brought it into such a modern light with the subjects and the kinds of people that you shoot, and it's really exciting to see you kind of invigorate this old medium and bring it into the 21st century.
Well, I mean, I think, Mimi, the first thing would be that my love of this is partly to do with the analog rather than the digital. Although we're using ultimately some of the digital in the print process. So I'm not negating this digital world, but I have to say that the capture, the original image making, which is so handmade and so unique. Each plate like you're seeing in the row below those large prints, I mainly make them at 10 inches by 8 inches on a sheet of metal, and every one will be completely unique. It has my fingerprints around the edges. It has chemical glitches that give it a quality that you cannot repeat. And I think that serendipity of all the control that I can possibly give, and then letting go and having glorious accidents add to the image, is what kind of, it's the magic that why I'm completely addicted to creating these images.
It's so beautiful. Those little marks around the edge, like you said, they make every single one that you do completely unique.
The image that you're talking about is a great one to talk about that, because as you know, I created as a little sort of commentary on Andy Warhol, 10 of those images of the Campbell soup can, 5 of which hung in an exhibition together. And each one of them, although done entirely the same way, were entirely different.
And they're so gorgeous. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces of yours that we sell on Darklight Art. And you obviously, well, we know that you've also worked for many years as a commercial photographer in advertising. Do you feel like that has had an influence on your art practice?
I think it has, Mimi, because I think I can't help myself wanting to light things beautifully and compose things beautifully. But I think the release that I get from doing things this way, compared to all the post-production and perfection that's involved in commercial work, or the end result of commercial work, I can kind of let go of that and become, you know, just that bit more accidental and a bit more original. Another of the things, obviously, that we're looking at is this extraordinary thing that every Tintype image is back to front. It's
yes, that was going to be my next question, actually. The Campbell's tin, obviously all the words backwards, and
yes.
Yeah.
And I love all that. I think that makes your eye consider the typography and the way symbols of words and all the rest of it, and letters, are as forms rather than necessarily having meanings. And then when it goes to portraiture, there's an absolutely amazing effect that happens, which is that the subject, certainly if they're looking directly at camera, sees themselves as they know themselves, because we only know ourselves as mirror images of ourselves.
Sarah and I have both had the pure joy of having our photos taken on tin by yourself, and this is one of them that you shot of me, definitely the best photo in existence of me. And yeah, I mean, it's such an experience that I really feel like I'll never forget. And maybe it's a mixture of just a process that I had never come across before meeting you, and maybe it is a bit, you know, the really bright exposure that almost burns into your memory. But it's also, like you said, when you see the photo sort of developing, do we call it developing still on tin?
Yeah, I think so. Appearing, yeah, fixing as it is, but I think maybe another of the elements is there's a sort of contemplative side to it, isn't there? Where, you know, the other part of the iPhone world of photography is that we can click like crazy, and it doesn't have necessarily quite so much meaning, but there's a lot of meaning that happens when one picture is produced in an hour and a half.
That's totally it. And you know that I mean, it's an expensive process. It's a real craft, and you know you have this one shot, which is quite foreign to us now. And yeah, I don't know, Sarah, how did you find that process of having your portrait taken?
I will never forget. I mean, it's quite strange for the likes of a normal person to be sitting in front of a camera like that anyway. Is quite it's quite a strange experience, because you have to stay really still and you've got all these lights on you and this quite intimidating camera, let's be honest. And so that kind of part of it and how still you have to stay, I remember that so vividly. But what I will never ever forget, I will never forget seeing that my image just appearing out of nowhere on the tin. It's really really special. So yeah, it is an incredible thing. And you used to do workshops where you used to invite people along to get their portraits taken. Would you be doing any more of those in the future again?
Oh, Sarah, absolutely. I can't wait to get back doing that. I mean, I think the interaction with other people and their enjoyment of the process is something that inspires me hugely. And I will definitely be doing that again.
Finally, I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the 2 images that we are selling at the Art Car Boot Fair. This is 3 tulips, and then we also have lemon and leaf, and they will both be on sale exclusively at Art Car Boot Fair for this weekend only, as a small edition of 30 for £145. So please go check those out after. But yeah, Tif, what's the story behind these ones?
Well, I think I have a continuing preoccupation with photographing natural objects, and I think coupled with my love of the imperfect, that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's I absolutely love, these things are beautiful, but they are also unique and in their own way not perfect. They've got their wrinkles, they've got their spots or whatever. And the one thing that I can't do with a tintype is retouch it. You get what you get, and it records what's there. And I think that feeling of truth is something that has meant an awful lot to me in this process. I started my career using film, and kind of got the magic of photography from being in the darkroom. And one used to know that phrase, "the camera never lies," and as the camera lies, has lied probably since the dawn of photography, with people doing very clever things. But certainly in the digital age, the camera is kind of always lying, really, in a way, or almost always. And I think that aspect of returning to the truth is super important to me. And so it's showing things how they actually just are.
I think with this lemon print particularly, I just adore the texture of the lemon. It's just amazing. All those little bumps and pores, and it does feel, I don't know, it does feel very grounding to me, some of these images, I think given especially the pandemic and how we've all been living in this very surreal world, there's something really calming to me about seeing such an honest, real, natural object like that, which actually goes very well with the theme of the fair, I might add too, which is flora and fauna. Oh,
well, that's perfect, isn't it? Yeah, but I didn't know that. But no, and I couldn't agree more. I think we all know of the sort of, there's a huge growth in people returning to gardens and appreciating nature. But that's something that I've been fortunate enough to always feel strongly about. And so, yeah, I think that's exactly what you're looking at. And
Tif, thank you so much for joining us today. If anyone wants to learn a little bit more about Tif, please go and check out his artist page on our website. And thank you for watching.